Okay, I want to do a quick little post vector hack 22 demo here because right at the end Cliff asked a question about importing wave that was clipped and what to do about it. And I kind of messed around a little bit, but I didn't really answer the question. So I'm going to go through the whole thing. So let's assume that we have a wave file that was made somewhere else, and we're bringing that into LaserBoy into the vector environment here. So we're going to import a wave, and by the way, you put this wave into the LaserBoy /wave /unformatted folder, and you go and you open a wave file and you choose option 7 to replace the current frame set with an unformatted wave not made in LaserBoy. And we call it klif, and we bring it in, and here it's asking if this is inverted or not. And the answer to that question is, yeah, it is inverted, because in fact it was made in LaserBoy and then exported as wave and then brought back in again as an unformatted wave. Because I made an animation, exported it as wave, opened it up in Audacity, and I cranked up the amplitude to beyond clipping. Like I amplified it like 10 dB so that it would be totally clipped off. But it's still inverted nonetheless. Inverted means that X and Y are upside down or backwards from each other, and the color channels all go negative. And the reason that it is that way is because a lot of DACs are inverters. So if your DAC is an inverter, you make an inverted wave. So anyway, we're going to open this as inverted, and what we get is this. Okay, and you see it totally clips out on the edges, right? And you can actually see the edges if you zoom the camera out a little bit with a Shift D. You're zooming out the camera now, and you can see that it's clipped, and you can actually see the vertices, and we'll turn off the boundaries. See, there's the boundaries of space that actually move with the art itself, floating bounds. So we're going to turn those off, and we'll turn on, for this purpose of this demonstration, the fixed bounds, which is this is space itself at exactly 100% zoom of the camera. So whatever the art is, it fits right in here. So, all right. So now you can see that all of the vertices are in fact just piling up on the edges because they're clipped. They're still there, but they're clipped. So like this line right here, this green would have gone all the way out around here and again, but it's clipped. So all of those vertices are all piled up right here on this edge. And that's what he wanted to know how to deal with. Well, the way you do that is, okay, the view, if you're in the main menu and you hit the F key, it'll put your view back to normal zoom. Okay, so we see this edge here. Now, if we zoom out a little bit, see, we can go beyond the limits of this is the fixed boundaries of space, which means now we're camera zoomed into slightly more than 100% of the normal size of this art. Okay, so it's outside of the boundaries of this fixed space marker. All right, and so now one of the things you can do in LaserBoy is you can apply the view of the camera to the art itself. Because you see, when we're zooming in and out and doing this stuff, we're not changing the art, we're just changing the way it looks on the screen, so our view of it. So we go back here, so we're just a little bit over the boundary of fixed space. So anyway, we're a little over the edge here, a little bit more than 100% zoom on this art right here. Okay, you see? All right. So now, if we go to apply the current view to the art with a Shift V, it says we're out of bounds, which obviously we are out of bounds because that's the whole point of this, right? So LaserBoy by default will not destroy your art. So if you're out of bounds, it won't let you do it unless you go into the tab menu, you go into Vector Editor Parameters 4, and there's an option here, option 9, Destructive Clipping in Move, Scale, Rotate. Okay, so there's several ways that LaserBoy data may go out of bounds. One is to change the camera view to where it is out of bounds. Another would be to rotate a large three-dimensional object in some oblique way that it would go out of bounds. Another would be to pan the vector, pan the camera so that it's left, right, up, down, whatever, out of bounds. But also, if you go to edit the art itself, if you're in like menu L and you select an object and you move it towards the edge, you would potentially, you would be heading towards going out of bounds. And so in those circumstances, when you're dealing with out of bounds stuff, you can in fact tell LaserBoy to go ahead and destroy whatever goes out of bounds. So we're going to turn that on right there. Now it's on, and you'll notice the boundaries of space turn bright red, kind of like this is on fire right here. Okay. Alright, so we're just beyond it. And now, because we have destructive clipping going on in the boundaries of space, we're saying that's okay. Hit Shift V, and it just did that. So now, if we shrink back a little bit, and we turn off the, let's see, wait, oh, I gotta do this first. Okay, go into here, go back into menu 4, turn off 9, the destructive clipping, so that we don't get the hot line, the red hot line, and you can see it's clipped. It's gone. All those vertices have been removed, and of course they've been replaced by blanking. Alright? And this is not optimized because it just is whatever it is, what we brought in. If you wanted to turn this into Ilda or Wave or whatever, you'd probably want to optimize this because it could put it in a much better order than what it currently is. But that's how you do it. You just zoom in a little bit to where it goes out of bounds, turn on destructive clipping, and Shift V from the main menu to apply the view to the art and clip it. And then, again, like I said, if you want to go into, you want to go into menu H, and you want to minimize this. See, it cleaned it up quite a bit. Now it's a shorter path through the points, but nonetheless, you could optimize this and you could output this as Wave or Ilda or whatever, and that's how it's done.